The year's 2011. You were a writer and director on Girls, 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 a film written, produced, edited, and shot entirely by women, which also stars your daughter, Mary Chifo. Can you tell us about that film and what it was like being on the other side of the camera?
Ooh, it was hard, but I loved it. I did. I loved it. Well, Anna O'Reilly, my dear friend Anna O'Reilly, um, and Lauren Miller Rogan and Jennifer Zaborowski, we all met for lunch, and they knew about this grant, and it was $1,000 grant to do a short. That was all done by women, and Octavia and I were friends, and I said, well, I would love to direct it if you would allow me to include Octavia in the cast and my daughter in the cast. I would really love to direct them because I had done in addition to the play, I had done another movie that I produced called Herpes Boy, which is, if you haven't seen it, it is darling movie. And I had gotten Octavia and Anna were both in that, and my daughter was in that a little bit. So I like to use people that I know well and love. Anyway, they agreed to it, and so we started working on the script. We had meetings, and Lauren wrote a script, and I had just done The Artist, which of course was a silent film. And but in The Artist, we did move our lips, and the lines would come up as they used to do in the old films. And I had this idea while doing The Artist. I thought, wonder if we could do a movie where no one spoke. Could we really make that clear, where it was just music back to back? And it'd be choosing the right songs or score, and it would take very special actors. And so after Lauren had gone to all the trouble to write the script, I said, what do you think? And she was like, oh, I don't know. And she said, okay, let's try it. And so that's what we did. And
That's
so we
awesome.
took away all the dialogue, and it's great. Honestly, it's great. And we won a couple of awards, and audiences responded. One film festival we didn't get in. I was so surprised because I had heard that people loved it. And I asked the lady, I said, tell me the truth. I'll never repeat. So I won't tell you which festival, but an important festival. And she said, Beth, it was too feminine. It's just, and that was, back in 2011. So
Yeah.
so it's different now. It
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah,
even.
it would have been the rave of the festival now. It would have been
Yeah,
the rave.
now it would be like, oh yeah, all women. And she said it was just too feminine. She said we get harder, edgier stuff. But I'm very proud of it. I love it very much. And it the hardest part for me um, was, well, I mean, it's all challenging. Y'all are directors, right? So you know what I'm talking about. It's hard work, and you have to get a little obsessed. Just only for me, anyway.
Yeah.
The hardest moment for me was sitting at my dining table all by myself because nobody else could do it, and creating the shot list. I I had to visualize the movie. Okay, this, and then we go here. Now, did I use it? I used some of it, but a lot of it was on the fly. And then people would give me ideas. My daughter gave me an idea. One of the crew people gave me an idea. You just sort of do what you do. Then we had some, not reshoots, but additional shooting. And my husband got a lot of insert shots for me. And then the next hardest thing was, editing. It's so hard to cut your favorite shots. We had this shot. Now, y'all relate to this beautiful shot of a cup of coffee being poured. I mean, we had gotten that shot. It was beautiful, but it was blocking our story because it made me want to do the next scene in a different way. And I said, I'm not losing that shot. I'm not losing that shot. I'm not gonna, I gotta, but it was too much to have her take that cup of coffee, deliver it. We were losing momentum. We didn't need it. And it was slowing us down.
Mm-hmm.
So I very sadly had to cut that shot. That kind of thing was hard. But
Yeah.
I loved it once it was done. Now, could I cut more now? Absolutely. I've seen it so many times at every festival I took it to. I think, oh, why didn't I cut that? I could cut that. But it works at 12 minutes and 42 seconds. Mark Duplass, who was one of our guest stars on Mindy, said that to me, he said, the trick to getting in Sundance is have a movie under 5 minutes. because they love to have a short movie that they can program. And he said, really, all the festivals. But he said, that's what you need to do if you really want to direct, make a bunch of movies under 5 minutes and keep putting them out. I said, well, a little late for me.
Yeah, no, I'm still, there's a few things that hit home for me in what you said. First was the not having dialogue had to be so nice in post production, having to not have to deal with audio cleanup or any of that audio post production. But then when you're talking about the shot list, that's the same thing where it's nice to have that blueprint in your back pocket just in case your brain decides not to turn on.
Yeah,
the next day.
that happens.
Hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a situation where the DP came over and said something to me, and all I heard was gobbledygook, gobbledygook, gobbledygook. And I was like, oh my God. And I looked at the AD, who was also our producer, and I said, what did she say? And I heard again, gobbledygook. I had ceased to speak English. I could not understand it. And I said, okay, we're going over here. I didn't know what they said. To this day, I don't know what they said. So yeah, what did you say? You said it good, like your brain
just decides not to turn on.
Yeah, just doesn't turn on. It just says, I can't go there. You've overworked me. I'm not going to do it.
I'm on autopilot until further notice. Yeah.
The hard part with the editing, though, was I had an album. I had the rights to an album. And I knew that was the music I wanted. But then my poor editor, we didn't have a fancy, music editor. So she had to do all of that extra work. And I know that it was very difficult for her. So I really gave her a tremendous amount of credit.
And editing has gotten easier for me over the years. I totally identify with what you're saying, not wanting to lose a particular shot because you know what went into it and it's just so pretty or whatever the reason is. And like my first movie could have easily been 45 minutes shorter. And now I kind of try to think because I look back at those and it's so easy. Like a few years go by, you look at something, you're like, I could easily trimmed 30 minutes off of this thing. I try to put myself in that mindset while editing. Like, how am I going to feel about this in a few years? And it's difficult, but it's helped not be so married to every moment and let things go to make a tighter picture at the end of it.
Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.